Hi. Okay. Okay. Hi. Let's see if anyone's around at 3:39 on a very cold and very dreary and very depressing Saturday. It is just gray and blah here. I just got out of the shower and I am frozen. Hey everyone, look at all my subscribers. Um Hello. So we just got home from our friend Abby's birthday party, and Cooper. So I brought Cooper and Sawyer, my two oldest kids, and then my daughter came a little bit later. Connie, I can't see if books are ordered. I don't manage the orders, but I would be honored if you did order. I don't sell the books, but I would be so honored if you did order. We just came from a birthday party for our friend Abby, and Cooper did so good. I don't think that I take enough time to really just bask in his progress. So our friends own a pizza ranch. Do you guys know what a pizza ranch is? It's like a a buffet style restaurant, and they are so lovely that they have a special room called Abby's room, and it's named after their daughter, and it can be used for a birthday space, but often we'll use it for a connecting space for our special needs families. We've done that quite a few times. And they also have an arcade, and this is probably Cooper's sixth or seventh time being there. And we always go right to Abby's room, and then we bring his food to him, and he loves the arcade. And can he handle it if it's 100 kids? No, but he can do very well if it's, our peeps and stuff. And so he just had this really, great successful time. I don't take enough pauses in my day to share this. Like, he sat, he ate the food that was there, which we had requested. They have chicken fingers and ketchup. He drank water out of a straw out of a cup. He used the bathroom. He washed his hands. He ate first and then went into the arcade. Humorously, when Cooper's done, he's done. So he was wearing this coat. This is our Special Olympics coat. He was wearing this coat, or this is the coat that he wore. And all of a sudden, I was in the middle of talking to someone, and he grabbed his words, which are his papers, he grabbed his words, my phone, and his coat, and he just walked to the front door. And I was like, where's Cooper? He can't go out by himself. So then I had to very much bribe him back inside with, hey Robin, bribe him back inside with talking about the fire station, and got him back inside. And I just said, I need to say goodbye to everybody. So I want to say goodbye. I need you to wait. And so he wouldn't sit back down because he was done, but he did stand, and he was pretty shifty on me. I knew he was going to make a run for it, but he let me say goodbye to all of our friends. So that's huge progress. And my friend Rachel just commented that he didn't go after the remotes. There's two TVs in the room, and I'm sure they play normal TV, but one shows you the arcade. I think the other one had messages and that sort of thing. So I text early, and I said, Sheila, can you hide the remotes? Because last time he couldn't reset. He just hyper fixated on those TVs and those remotes. And, if he gets frustrated, he'll throw. And so Awesome. Yeah. Lindy, yes, there is. We don't have a location yet, though, so stand by for that. He did really good. And but then he was done. So our PCA actually stayed with Cooper or with Sawyer and Winnie to finish Harbor. Why can't I remember my children's names? I don't even know who's who anymore. Sawyer, our 12-year-old, had kicked some serious butt in the arcade games, and he wanted to make sure he finished and he got his prize. And so he had like 65 tickets left or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, you can, like, and our PCA was like, do you want me to take Cooper? And I was like, no, Cooper and I are on a date together. Like, this was our day. He wouldn't just leave on his own. Yeah, he would. He did. I stopped him, but he was done. He was gonna leave and go. Cooper has to be 1-to-1 at all times. Like, he can't be alone. He will just wander right out the front door and right into traffic and happy as can be. So he hasn't done that in a while, but when he's done, he's done. He's like, see you in the spring. I'm going. Yeah. And he was gone. But he did so good, and he got a gift bag. He was very proud of his gift bag. That's the other thing he was carrying. He carried it like this. He was so proud of that gift bag. And then he ate every piece of candy in it. He was like, this is mine. But I'm just so, I can list it all out. For X amount of years we couldn't go, and we wouldn't even be able to consider it. And now we were able to go for about an hour, and he was able to be successful. And I don't think we talk about that stuff enough. And so I'm actually going to tell you a really vulnerable truth that I want to share with you. I think it needs to be said. Cooper was 6.5. 6.5. See you Saturday. What's Saturday? Is that next Saturday? Jamie's upstairs with the kids. He's upstairs with the kids. Okay. I'm not going to read from this, but I have a chapter in here called, this is our new book that comes out April 1. So in like 5 minutes, this book's going to be here. And we have a chapter called A Different Kind of Success. And this is written by me, my friend Carrie, who has a 20-year-old son named Jack, and our friend Adrian, who has an 11-year-old son named Amos. All three have autism. Very different autistic profiles. And in this chapter, in all the chapters, all three of us write a portion of it. And each of us talks about, in different ways, how when our kids were diagnosed or before we had a child with a disability, and I'll just speak for myself, I looked at success as one way. Like, I looked at, if you would have asked me in high school or college, what does success look like for you? Or what does success look like for a person your age? I would say graduating from college, getting a job, living independently, eventually, for me, getting married, having kids. Like, that's what I wanted. I also wanted a really big job. That was something that was a passion of mine. I wanted to work in PR, marketing. I got a double major in management and marketing. I wanted to move up the ladder professionally. That was a really big measure of success for me. I didn't go to a big college. That's important to a lot of families. That wasn't part of mine, but I did at one point make a switch and want a very well-paying job. Like, I wanted to work, and and then I had this beautiful, complicated baby, and everything changed rather quickly for me. I took a maternity leave of 12 weeks, And when I went back to work, I couldn't, for starters, Cooper didn't sleep at all. That part was, slowly destroying me. But we couldn't find a daycare that would take him. And that is often not talked about in the disability world. There's not a lot of daycares for our kids. Unless you have a grandma and grandpa that are willing to watch them, or someone in your life, you're probably going to have to quit your job and stay home. And often, not always, often it's mom, but always one parent. And for me, I cut back to 4 days a week. And I remember feeling like the biggest failure. I was like, I'm a failure. I'm failing my family. We need that extra 8 hours of income. I could go on and on. Like, I went to college. I want to, move up the ladder. I'm not going to be successful. Like, I was just really, really broken up over that, having to cut back. I remember talking to my boss, who I loved, and I just cried. And she said, Kate, this doesn't have to be forever. Family comes first, and let's help Cooper. And then as time went on, he needed speech therapy, occupational therapy, and early intervention, and all these things happened during the day. And so then I cut back again. I cut back from what did I cut back? So I cut down to 36 hours, and I think I went down to 32. So I was working however it worked. And I think, if I remember correctly, I was working longer days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, off Wednesday, Friday. I had a pretty long drive to work. We lived about 40 minutes away from where we work, so it was just long days. I'm just sharing that part with you because I remember thinking, I'm never going to be successful in the way that I want. And I've always, probably in my whole parenting life, I've been a parent for 14 years, I've always honestly felt when I'm working, I feel like I should be with my kids. When I'm with my kids, I feel like I should be working. Isn't that funny? Do any of their moms or dads feel that way? I'm like, I feel like I'm never fully committed to the task at hand. I don't know if that's just me. I was never good at maternity leave. I was not good at it. It was so, I remember a large chunk of my maternity leave was always nursing. I have 3 of my kids nurse like 24 hours a day, I swear. And so I was always holding and sitting in a chair, and I remember thinking, like, I should be working. And then it's over, and you miss it so much. At least I did. Anyhow, so back to success. So we have this chapter in the book called A Different Kind of Success. And it almost wasn't in the book. It really was. There's 2 chapters that almost weren't in the book. A Different Kind of Success and What Does Forever Look Like? So we wrote it. We wrote, who are we? Diagnosis Day, the new normal, anxiety, autism siblings, building community, exploring grief, caregiving versus motherhood, education. And then we had thought about ending the book with a letter, each of us writing a letter to our boys. And that just didn't, as we got towards the end, it just didn't feel right. And so we're like, we looked at our 3 boys who are different ages, same diagnosis, very different places on the spectrum. And I think something happened. I think it was right around the time that we took the Amtrak to Chicago, which was a dream of Cooper's that we didn't know if it was ever possible. And 3 of our family members so my husband and I and Sawyer took Cooper on an 8-hour, 9-hour Amtrak ride to Chicago. And we survived train stations, trains, the bathroom on the train. I could go on and on. Will he have a meltdown? We were able to get off the train, get in a cab, get to the hotel. The next day we did the Shed Aquarium, which so many people. And then we went to a huge water park, and the only part of the water park that Cooper loved was closed. We had no idea. And he ends up being drawn to the younger play structures, like the younger, if you've ever been to a big water park, it's usually like slides and buckets that tip, and that's, kind of waterfalls and that sort of thing. And he went down this water slide, and the lifeguard was like just blowing his whistle at him and was like, "You're too big, you're too big." And Cooper's like, he's like no idea that he's being yelled at. And he recovered, and we were able to do other things. So I remember sitting with my two fellow co-authors, and I was like, we just had a super successful trip. And in their worlds, that would not be success, because their kids are able to fly. Their kids are able to do other things. And so we said, well, what if we talk about success in a different way? What if we frame it for each of our children? What does success look like for this boy, and this boy? I'm not going to read it because I want you to read it. Pre-order, remember, we have a couple days to order, and you can have it in your hand. Oh, that won't work. Okay, never mind. Cancel. I was trying to share the link, but I can't. I'm having the hardest time, friends. Does it ever happen to you? Okay. Instagram, I cannot share a link to pre-order my book for you, so you're just gonna have to pop on Amazon and just search Autism Out Loud and you'll find it. Facebook, I can share it for you. So I want to share a very vulnerable, oh, I just lost all my comments. There we go. Okay, I want to share a very vulnerable thing with you. And I'll tell you where it's coming from so you understand. I have found myself in this weird place of advocacy for individuals like Cooper on the spectrum, and I'm getting a lot of hate for not sharing his hard moments, essentially. And so this morning, someone, let's just call her Phyllis, came at me pretty hard for not sharing the hard parts of autism, and told me that I needed to have a reality check and I needed to get with it, and that Cooper's success was making other people feel sad. And I will tell you, I essentially laughed out loud at a hockey rink when I read that. I mean, like, out loud. People looked at me. Because never had it crossed my mind that Cooper's success would make others feel bad. And let me explain that a little more. We have lived in the nonverbal, profound space for a long time, 14 years. And I have surrounded myself with the world of autism and individuals of all kinds. And I cannot imagine telling my friends to downplay their children's success for me. Like, if your child says a first word, I want to know. If your child has success playing sports or joining Cub Scouts or makes a friend or rides a bike or, things that are not possible for us right now or ever, I still want to celebrate with you. Yeah, I may feel sad on the inside for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, but I can't imagine not celebrating where someone's at. And so my vulnerable admission that I'm going to tell you is that we had so many really hard, awful years. Ages 4 to 8 were the absolute hardest. Is it easy now? No. But ages 4 to 8 were our hardest years. And age 8 is when we started Cooper on anxiety medication and things. We really started looking at his autism differently and tackling the really big challenges that he has. And those are in relation to anxiety and OCD. And so once we got a hold of those for him and helped rein in his anxiety, the picture got a little bit clearer. Um, oh, I love that, Katie. One person's encouragement is not your discouragement. Oh, I love that. And so I remember thinking, we are going to be a sad story forever. I mean, I remember thinking, like, we are not going to be the autistic story that people talk about. I don't know why I would even think that. But that's what it felt like. Like, it felt like it was so dire and so hopeless. Which, if you know me now, it's hard to believe that I would say that. But I had no support surrounding his diagnosis. There was no help. Um, Essentially, we felt abandoned by everyone in our life. True story. I had no friends that had kids with autism. We were locked in our home. That's what it felt like. And he had no verbal communication. He was aggressive. He was self-injuring. He didn't sleep. And I mean, I had nights where I would just cry myself to sleep because I was like, this is it. This is it. Like, this is it. Like, we're not a success story that you read about on the internet. And and it was it was hard. It was hard for a lot of years. And a big part of my story, sorry, I have a frog in my throat. I'm not crying, I have a frog in my throat. A big part of my story is when I changed how I looked at this. I really put a lot of work into myself. I was angry, I was sad, I was jealous, I was pushing people away. I was a therapist's dream. I was given this hard thing and I was mad about it, and I hated everyone who didn't have this hard thing, and I didn't want them in my life. How do you know we've stopped going to the grocery store, Mary? Maybe I'm just not sharing it. How do you know that? Um, so I I put a lot of work into myself. I surrounded myself with community. I found other families living the same life. I started sharing my story unapologetically, even if it makes people angry. I started sharing my truth. I talked about why I was angry. I talked about why I was jealous. I talked about why I was sad. I learned that it was grief. So I could just go on and on. All the things that I did. It didn't happen overnight. It took years. It took years and years for me to really change who I was. Do I slip back there? Oh, yes. Yes, I do. I, my husband and I slip back there to the angry place every time we see all y'all families traveling on spring break and getting on airplanes, and it just feels so effing unfair. Truth. I actually avoid Facebook for all of spring break because if I just see one more of my lovely friends taking all their kids to Mexico and living the best life, and they're not doing anything wrong, they should. They shouldn't downplay their enjoyment for me, right? That's insane. But I do get jealous. And then I laugh about it at myself. So the first time that I realized that Cooper was a success story, I had no idea. Some mom commented and was like, I would give anything if my child could do what your child could do. And I was like, what? Us? And, we had a conversation through Messenger. She said that her son was entirely nonverbal. He had no communication, where Cooper does communicate. He communicates not verbally, but in a variety of ways. We learn that he can spell some, that he can read some. He can use a speech device. Now, are we like talking about his hopes and dreams? No, it's very needs based. But what a gift, right? What a gift. And she was like, I would give anything for that. Another one that seems to really be a hot button item for Cooper is, or for people, is that Cooper has these two friends, Peyton and Dexter. And I really thought that everyone would just be so happy that he has these friends, but there's people that makes them angry. And is it a traditional friendship? No. Do they talk? No. Does Peyton include Cooper? Yes. Does Dexter sit by Cooper? Yes. Do I hope that the three of them live together after I'm gone and have a great life? Yes. But I remember, I get these comments all the time like, I wish my child could have a friend. And I'm like, Cooper has a friend. He does. He has friends. No, it's not traditional, but he has friends. I get really jealous of people who can leave their kids home alone. I don't know if Cooper will ever be able to be home alone. I don't, maybe I can sort of, like, if we could figure out a way for him to communicate and know that he wouldn't leave the house and understand the fire alarm and what to do if someone came to the door, like, I could go on and on. I don't know. I can't quite figure those parts out yet, but maybe someday, maybe when he's 20, maybe when he's 30. I think maybe. But so I just want to acknowledge that there are people out there where they pray for the kind of autism that I have because their child has more significant challenges. And I never thought that. I mean, I just baffled me. It just baffled me when I figured it out. And I think it is so good for me to share his successes, because when a mom or a dad sits at a table for the first time and someone says your child has severe level 3 nonverbal autism, or however they say it, I want them to see the successes that may be possible. I think that my life with Cooper would have been completely and entirely different if I could have seen Cooper. Because when I Googled it for the first time, what I saw was real bad. Really, really bad. Bad things on the internet. Real bad things. And so he is a success story. And so where I want to just really define this conversation is the diagnosis is hard, but there are still moments of joy and moments of success. And like we cover in depth in here, is success looks different for every person, and it's me and it's you who has to reframe what success looks like. It's hard. I want my son to talk. I want him to play sports or be in a school play. I want him to go on play dates. He's 14. He should be thinking about getting his license. He should be thinking about girls and just so many things. It should be so different, and it's unfair. There, I said it. He still is so successful in his own way, and I'm going to celebrate those successes until my dying day. So I guess if you are here and you don't want, if you're not ready, if you're not ready to see the successes of nonverbal autism, or it makes you angry or sad, go, but come back. Come back when you're ready. I'll tell you, for the longest time, I could not see autism in young adults. I was not ready. Like, it hurt so bad. I was not ready. Now I am. Now I'm like, bring me all the young adults. Bring them all to me. I want to learn. I want to do better. I want to, help in all the parts. But it took time. And so I guess my request is, it took me 14 years to get here too, to be the mom that I am, that Cooper needs me to be. So please don't tell me that I shouldn't celebrate him, because it might make someone else feel bad. And on the same breath, celebrate your kids' successes. Celebrate them. We're already going against all neurotypical kids that I have, right? I mean, our success already looks so different. Let us celebrate. Let us be happy. And don't ever downplay it for me. I want to know. I'm happy for you. And if I'm sad, I'll take 5 minutes and I'll cry in the bathroom and I'll come back out. And I've done that before. I've been at special needs events that I've thrown and I've cried because I have the kid that struggles the most. But we keep going and we keep trying. And it is getting better. It is. Hi, Bridget. Oh, my dear friend. My dearest friend. Okay, I am going to bring Sawyer. I'm bringing my 12-year-old to get his perm cut, not off, trimmed. He's getting some teasing about his hair, and we talked about it, and he has a hockey perm. And I said, well, you have two choices, dude. You can own your haircut and be confident about it and not worry what other people say, or we can give it a little bit of a trim and see if that helps in other areas. And he's like, let's just cut a little bit. He's like, but I really like my hair. And I'm like, then let's own it. Hey, Nicole, if you like it, then I guess, we can't care what other people say all the time. You got to pick what you care about. And when you tell me not to celebrate my autistic son's successes, I care. Okay, I'm going to go. Please, if this inspired you or, helped you feel anything or grow or learn, please pop over and order Autism Out Loud. I'm looking at you, Instagram, because I've talked to you the least about the book. So it's Autism Out Loud. It comes out April 1. So if you order it today, you'll have it April 1 in your hand. And we're so excited. So excited to share it with you. Okay. Bye, guys.